Hello everyone, my name's Bob Mitch and welcome back to some more Star Citizen. It is day 3 of Invictus week and today is Aegis or Aegis, or I don't know how you say it, day. It's Aegis Dynamics Day. We're on one floor today and I have to say that getting here has been a problem. The RSI website went down earlier on when the Aegis page went live because lots of greedy space people wanted to go and buy their internet spaceships, and by internet spaceships I mean the Idrises and Javelins, because they were on sale, although they lasted about 10 seconds as they always do, so people will have to wait for other waves. But it basically crashed the back end again, so lots of back end services have been disrupted. My character, who would normally be female walking around, is now a man. His dagger is on sideways. I didn't know that was a thing, so you can see things like inventory servers and all kinds of different things are broken. But I'm in this hall and we're going to do a tour of this hall. So we will start at the front. At the front we have the Eclipse. So this is all Aegis stuff. I haven't been down here yet as before. This is the first time I've managed to get onto a server because we were dealing with infinite loading screens. But we have an Eclipse. So if you don't know the Eclipse is a stealth bomber, as you can see, much in the vein of the B2 Spirit. This thing's very, very fun to fly, very, very cool, very enclosed feeling cockpit. It's meant to evoke the same kind of emotions flying a B2 Spirit does in a flight simulator. It contains 3 size 9 torpedoes in its bomb bay, which are very, very, very useful for taking down big ships like the Hammerhead and the 890, and eventually things like the Idris and indeed the Javelin when we get that far. But at the minute it's very fun to fly. It's a cool snipe ship. When the stealth mechanics work, it can sort of tune down its signature a bit, although it's not really that far into the game at the minute. But it's very fun to fly. This is a very fun ship. If you are doing a free flight, come do this one in the very least, because it's very, very, very cool. We will go into these side halls next and we'll see what's on offer. So we'll step down. That, to me, looks like the Redeemer, which I believe is Aegis' dropship, or is it a gunship? I can't quite remember. Aegis Dynamics Redeemer. Blah, 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 blah. It is a gunship, yes. So it's not a dropship, it's a gunship. It's meant as like a big, heavy gunship. And as you can see on the hollow image here, this thing's got lots of firepower. I don't know too much about this one. I know lots of people are eagerly awaiting this ship when it comes out. Lots of people like things with big guns, don't they? So whilst it's not my kind of cup of tea, I can appreciate why lots of people are wanting to fly it. On to opposite side here, we have what looks like a Nautilus, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, so this is the one of the newest ships that Aegis has had come out through RSI, and the Nautilus is a mine layer, or a mine sweeper if you like, depending on what role you're going to have for it. So this thing basically deploys big space mines that will be attracted to ships via whatever means and blow them up, so you can defend an area without having to send ships into combat. You can send these out instead. We'll zip over to the other side and see what we've got over there. I have noticed that because we're on one big hall, I can see a Hammerhead there, but I do not see an Idris like we have had at the IAE. So at the IAE in November, they had a second floor that you went down and that took you down, and they had an Idris in a hangar. This today does not appear to be the case. And this is indeed the same images, so we shall move on down to the floor. Now, much like Anvil, Aegis has a lot to offer players in the game at the minute, lots of different ships to fly, from starter ships to more advanced things, and we can see this reflected in the displays. So again, we'll go right to left. We'll see what we've got. So starting over here, we can see all the way, this is a long big hall, all the way over to the right hand side here, starting with the Gladius Valiant. I know this because of the yellow stripes. So yeah, this is a special variant of the Gladius. So as opposed to just the normal Gladius, the Valiant has a different loadout to honour, if I'm correct, an ace pilot. So I don't know again too much about them, but a lot of the, I think there was 2 or 3 of the military ships were given special liveries in commemoration of ace pilots who flew them in certain battles. So this one's got a repeater under the nose, as you can see, and then it's got these laser cannons hoisted underneath with some missiles. Gladius is always fun to fly. It's kind of like the bread and butter of Star Citizen, especially Squadron 42. When that comes out, you'll be flying these things a lot, so you need to get used to them. A bit further off to the side, we have the Avenger series. Now this is a specific Avenger. I remember this one. Yeah, this is the Renegade again. So this one is made for a special pilot, because you can see there is the normal Penguin over there. Well, I say normal. It's not quite normal because that's the Warlock. That's the normal one over there. So that's a Stalker. This is a special library one with a different loadout. So big gun under the nose and then some cannons underneath. I found that I actually didn't like this loadout very much when I had one of these very briefly. And whilst it is basically a normal Avenger, it hasn't got anything special in the back, apart from some cargo space, I didn't like the loadout of those weapons. So the Warlock, however, is a different beast. So the Warlock, again, big gun under the nose and some laser cannons that's slung under the wings. But if we can open up the rear end, if it will let me do it, there we go. You see it's got this giant spinny thingy in the back, and this is an EMP because the Warlock's party piece is that it is an EMP ship. So the ship's designed to charge an EMP and disable nearby ships. So this one's a bit more of a specialised flyer. Moving over, we have what we could call a normal Titan. I think the Stalker is the one with the prisoner bays in it. Let's have a look. Yeah, so this one is meant as like a bounty hunting ship because you can see it's got these kind of prisoner cells in the back as opposed to some cargo space. So this is like very much a bounty hunting ship. So the normal Avenger Titan just has some cargo space in the back, but it is white. That's why they call them the Penguins, as you can see, white and black. We shall continue on. And over here I can see we have the Vanguard series. So this is a Vanguard Sentinel, and I believe I'm right. I'm going to check this so I don't look like a Burke. I honestly cannot remember. I know the Vanguard series has several variants. As you can see, they're spread out all over the place. So we've got the Sentinel there. I'm going to run all the way to the back. There's a giant gun on the nose. We've got the Harbinger there. The Warden there. And the Hoplite here. So Warden and Harbinger, if I remember, are the sort of gunshipy kind of variants. They're heavy fighters, as you can tell by the giant munitions on the nose of each one of them. Whereas I believe the Hoplite is a dropship. It's got some seats in the back, so you can chuck a load of people in there and then go and fly them to a location. So it's one of Aegis's dropship ships. And the Sentinel has an EMP, so it has a larger EMP than, say, the Warden that's parked over there, or indeed the Sabre Raven if they've got one of those in here. So there's lots of different Vanguard variants. They are very, very capable ships. They're very, very fun to solo fly, especially if you're using some of the heavy hitters at the back there. Of course, you can see they've got turrets on top, so yeah, definitely give these a try, especially if you're doing something like Arena Commander, like Pirate Swarm, or the Vandal Swarm. These are really, really fun to use. We've got someone else running around and renting them all, as you can see. Centerpiece of the haul, because we don't have an Idris, is the Hammerhead. So the Hammerhead is a heavy corvette. It's a big, big ship, as you can see, and it's basically a flying gun turret is essentially what the Hammerhead is. It's got this very cool underslung bridge, as you can see, and then it's got a big door at the front to let people in. This thing is designed for ramming. It has extra strong bulkheads at the front, so if needed you can go and cleave ships in two with it. I believe the Vandal have some similar ships, so the UE sort of adopted a similar tact when they made the Hammerhead. And it's got these big turrets all along the sides, as you can see. I believe there's two or three on each side, and then like one to the rear. They're all mounted with size 5 cannons, and they all pack a massive punch. It's got several decks. It has like a little crew deck with a mess hall and some beds and things in it, and then the rest of the ship is all business, so it's all designed to just be a big, big, big gunship. Lots of fun to multi-crew these things are, and they're good in fights. Moving around a bit further, we have the Retaliator. So this is just going to be the Retaliator base, because they haven't actually made the Retaliator bomber yet. So this is a weird one. This is like a cross between the base and the bomber. So the Retaliator is made to be like, I think when CIG made it, it was meant to be like one of their first modular ships, because this is an old ship design now. It needs a rework. but it's got like different pods and things that it can take inside, so it can have different things like crew pods and medical pods and all kinds of nonsense, which is why it's called the base, because you can customize it. However, the UEE military variant that you're going to see in Squadron 42 is the Retaliator bomber, and that's what this thing has, even though it is not called a bomber. It has 9, I think, is it 9? 9 or 12 size 9 torpedoes, so like the Eclipse, many torpedoes, just more of them. So this thing is very, very good to use. It's good to multi-crew. It has some kind of weak areas, like it has blind spots with its turrets and things, but I do still love flying these things. They are still very fun to fly, and they look amazing in flight, and they sound amazing as well. Moving around then to the last things, it doesn't appear as though we've got a Raven in here. We have the Sabres. So the Sabre is Aegis' kind of bread and butter fighter next to the Gladius. These things are meant as stealth fighters. So they're meant as fighters, but they're a bit sort of lesser armoured because they're meant to have a lower IR signature and be a little bit less detectable. Nonetheless, they do still pack a punch, and I have to admit that these things are sort of my favourite things to fly if I'm flying a fighter. I used to have a Comet a long time ago, and I sort of willfully got rid of it when I wanted my 890, but again, I'm not a military sort of fighter jetty person style, so yeah, that's why I gave it up. But I did love the thing to pieces, and that was when scatterguns were ridiculous back then, so it was really fun to have them on it. So there's this variant, which is the bog standard Sabre. This is like the normal one, and then the Comet here, again like the Avenger over there and the Gladius Valiant, was another ship that was made to honour a certain pilot for a certain heroic deed somewhere. And you can see it's got these big pyro cannons on the side, so these things are the... Oh, I don't want to rent it. Actually, I will. Sod it. I will rent it, because I do want to fly this thing again. At least that's working. It's got these big scatter guns on the side, and then it's got these laser cannons on the front, which used to be the other way around. It used to have the other weapons on the wings, and then the scatter guns used to be up front. However, Comet is very sort of... It's either loved or laughed upon because of its paint scheme, because you can see it's got this digital camo paint scheme all over it, but I kind of like it, and the sweeping blue. I love this thing when I had it. So Fly Sabre, they're really fun. So going around, I think that's it. So this is Aegis Day. Site and indeed the servers still taking a heavy knock, but if you can get on, come on and fly some Aegis ships. Aegis, I don't know how you say it. I say it Aegis. But yeah, these are some of, I think, the more fun ships to fly, especially if you're a combat-y person. I would say so more than Anvil's stuff. The Anvil stuff is good, but I've always loved the Sabres. I've always loved the Gladius. The Avenger, if you're just starting out in the game, and you know you're new to the game and you're looking for a decent ship to fly that kind of does everything, a normal Avenger Titan will do everything for you. It's the bread and butter of Star Citizen, is the Penguin. That's why it's so popular. And then you've got heavy hitters like the Vanguards as well, so come and have a look. As for this is me signing off on day 3 of the free flight. So Aegis Dynamics, come fly some fun spaceships. Hopefully the servers will stand up for day 4 and will not get crashed by as many I won't get crashed by as many people wanting capital ships again. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ta-da!